Welcome to Mobile Home Friend YouTube channel, your go-to resource for everything manufactured housing.
Welcome to another deep dive from Mobile Home Friend. Today we are looking at exterior painting based on our latest research at mobilehomefriend.com.
We're exploring the absolute highest leverage maintenance task you can do, the one thing that dictates the actual lifespan of your siding and, of course, the appraisal value of your property.
So let's jump right into this massive number, $40,000. That is the potential net worth drop of a mobile home over a single decade if you ignore the exterior.
Exactly. Because when siding fails, the belly wrap gets wet, structural rot sets in, and it's game over. We really need to shift how we think about this. A fresh coat of paint isn't just some cosmetic color change, it's quite literally an insurance policy for your equity.
To prevent that kind of massive financial loss, we're breaking down this explainer using a first principles approach. We'll hit why paint is structural, siding chemistry, the vinyl safe color revolution, a full 2026 cost breakdown, and the blueprint for proper prep and application. You'll see exactly how a $5,000 paint job protects a $150,000 asset. Let's get into it. Section 1. Why paint is structural, way beyond cosmetic luxury. You know, most owners view exterior paint as just a decor choice, but on a manufactured home, your siding is actually a thin, highly critical protective envelope. Absolutely. UV damage makes vinyl incredibly brittle over time. In wood-based siding, it literally cracks under intense solar heat. Right. And the very moment that paint film is breached, moisture invites itself into the wall cavities. Since mobile homes often use pressed wood studs or thinner framing, a fresh coat of high solids paint acts as a vital protective membrane against rapid structural rot. But hey, while paint plays defense against the elements, it also plays major offense for your net worth. Modernizing a dated exterior, ditching that 1970s or 80s vibe for a cohesive, modern palette, can actually bump up the appraisal value of your property.
Up to 25%? It's wild. You're simultaneously bulletproofing the home and driving up your equity in one fell swoop.
Moving right along to Section 2, siding chemistry and adhesion, the exact science of sticking. There's a massive contrast in flexibility here, so you cannot use a one-size-fits-all approach. Mobile homes are dynamic structures, right? They expand, they contract, they shift on their peers, which is exactly why rigid, oil-based paints are a terrible idea here. They are simply too brittle and will crack within 2 seasons. You absolutely must use 100% acrylic latex paint. It's flexible, so it moves dynamically with the structure. But even having the right paint isn't enough if you don't understand your specific siding material. If you have vinyl siding, for instance, you're fighting molecular surface tension. Vinyl is completely non-porous. Standard paint just slides right off. It has absolutely no way to bite into the surface.
Exactly. And as we noted on the Mobile Home Friend website, to defeat this, you need a high-resin primer to create a true chemical bond. You're literally changing the chemistry so it sticks.
Now, meanwhile, if you have wood siding like T111, your primary enemy is hygroscopic expansion.
Yeah, that happens when the bottom edges soak up water like a sponge. If you paint right over that damp wood, the sun turns that trapped moisture into vapor, and it will literally blast the new paint off in huge blisters. You've got to ensure the wood is below 15% moisture content before you even think about putting a coating on it.
Section 3. The vinyl safe color revolution and defeating thermal warping.
This is huge, because choosing the wrong shade on vinyl siding can quite literally melt your house. Wait, right, historically, you couldn't paint vinyl a darker color than its factory shade without causing severe thermal warping. Spot on. But thanks to 2026 infrared reflective pigment technology, the game has changed entirely. Standard black pigments absorb heat, but these new vinyl-safe pigments actually reflect infrared light, so you can finally nail that dark, trendy modern farmhouse look safely without cooking the siding.
But listen, just because you can go dark doesn't always mean you should. Sticking to a light reflective value, or LRV, above 60 is still the golden rule. Colors with an LRV above 60 reflect the vast majority of solar heat. And since mobile homes typically have less attic insulation than site-built homes, a lighter exterior drastically lowers your internal ambient temperature. We're talking reducing your cooling costs by 15 to 20%. Over a decade, those energy savings alone can pay for a huge chunk of your entire paint job. So who should actually do all this work? Section 4, our 2026 exterior cost breakdown, DIY versus pro. The crucial question is whether to tackle this yourself. especially with rising 2026 material costs. Now, a basic DIY route is definitely cheaper on paper for the paint and prep supplies. Oh, for sure. But a premium professional job on a double wide can easily hit $6,500 in total. Look at what you're really paying for, though. Labor fees that remove massive technical and physical risks. No ladder falls, no chemical bonding failures. It's peace of mind. If you want the full technical breakdown, check the post on mobilehomefriend.com. But I really want everyone to remember this golden rule from real estate investor Chuck O'Dell. Yeah, proper surface preparation beats expensive paint every single time. You could go out and buy the absolute most premium $80 per gallon top coat on the market, but if you cut corners on your prep work, it's just going to peel off in sheets. Which perfectly transitions us into Section 5. Exactly how do you execute this project to ensure your paint job lasts over a decade? Here's the 2026 blueprint. This rigid 5-step checklist is absolutely mandatory. First up, pressure wash to strip away all that oxidation and dirt.
Second, scrape and sand any flaking paint. You do not want to paint over a structural flaw.
Third, hit any metal spots with a good rust inhibitor. Fourth, caulk everything, and I mean literally everything. Use a 50-year elastomeric caulk that stretches 500% with the home. Finally, mask and prime. Guys, skipping even one of these steps is a guaranteed ticket to premature failure.
Now, when it's time to actually apply the paint, what's your weapon of choice? Brush, roller, or an airless sprayer? Look, trying to brush a 70-foot home causes massive arm fatigue, and it leaves those ugly lap marks everywhere. To get that perfectly smooth, consistent factory finish, an airless sprayer is basically required.
But wait, you can't just spray. You have to achieve mechanical adhesion. The pro secret here is back rolling.
Right, so it's a team effort. One person sprays the paint on, while a second person immediately follows behind with a roller, physically pushing that wet paint deep into the texture of the siding. Spraying alone simply cannot match this level of chemical and mechanical bond.
It's a game changer. Once the job is done, the work isn't totally over. As we noted on the site, to protect your equity, you have to treat your home as a constantly managed liquid asset.
Yep, so follow this exact 10-year maintenance logic. Low-pressure washes in the early years to knock off salt and dust. By year 5, meticulously inspect those caulk joints. Year 7, check the sunny side of the home for chalking. And by year 10, plan for a fresh top coat to maintain that crucial UV barrier.
So I want to leave you with this final critical thought. Take a walk around your property today and look really closely at the envelope of your home. Is your current exterior paint actively protecting your equity? Or is it just a thin, failing shell hiding a structural disaster waiting to happen? Thanks for watching. For more guides and the full article on this topic, head over to mobilehomefriend.com. Don't forget to check the links in the description below.
Thanks for watching. For more technical guides on this topic, click the link to see the in-depth article over at mobilehomefriend.com. There are many more informational dives into manufactured home topics to investigate and keep your project moving forward.